Section 4, number 1, which expression is equivalent to that? So let's go ahead and look at the just very last term to save time. -4 minus, when we combine the like terms, there's no square, so it's just -4 minus -7, so it is +7. So you get +3 must be A. If you have time, you can go ahead and combine the like terms or just look at the first term too. 2x squared minus -3 squared. You have to distribute the negative, so they all become opposite signs. So 2x squared plus 3x squared is 5x squared. So CD is not true. And when we look at the last term, it becomes 3, so it has to be A. The graph above shows the position of Paul and Mark during the race. Paul and Mark each ran at a constant rate, and Mark was given a head start to shorten the distance he needed to run. Paul finished the race in 6 seconds. Mark finished the race in 10 seconds. According to the graph, Mark was given a head start of how many yards? So where's Mark? So y-intercept, this is where they started. Paul started at 0 distance. It started at, as you can see, it's increased by 6, so it's at 18. Increased at 18, so it is C. 3, snow fell and then stopped for a while. So fell and then stopped for a while. When the snow began to fall again, it fell at a faster rate than it had initially. So assuming that none of the snow melted during the time indicated, which of the following graph could model the total accumulation of snow versus time? So it was keep increasing and then it stopped, but it says it was snowing faster than before, so it has to be steeper. So it is A. This is steeper slope than the first. 4, website hosting service charges business a one-time setup fee, $350, plus D dollars for each month. If the business owner paid $10.10 for the first 12 months, so it is D times 12 months, because it was D dollars for each month, and the flat fee was $350. What is the value of D? How many dollars is it for month? So you just got to solve for D. This is Y equals to mx plus B, where B is the flat fee, y-intercept, and M is the rate of change, price in each month. So subtract 350 from both sides. We get 10 minus 350. $660 equals to D times 12. So now divide by 12. 12 to get D, divide by 12. So you get 55. D, $55 a month. 5, which of the following inequality is equivalent to the inequality above? So here it seems like we can simplify this by dividing by everything by 3. If you divide by a negative, the inequality flips, but we are dividing by a positive 3, so it stays the same. So you get 2x minus 9 divided by 3 is 3y greater than 4. So it's B, exact same inequality. Where do people get most of their medical information? The table above shows the summary of 1,200 responses to a survey question. Based on the table, how many of those surveyed get most of their medical information from either a doctor or internet? Doctor or internet. So that is total of 76% off of 1,200. So you multiply it. So 76%, if you put it in decimal, you move to decimal to the left. So it's 0.76 of times 1,200. So 1,200 times 0.76 is 912. So it is C. 7, the members of the city council wanted to assess the opinions of all city residents above the converting an open field into a dog park. Okay. The council surveyed a sample of 50 city residents who own dogs. The survey showed that the majority of those sample were in favor of the dog park. Which of the following is true about the city council survey? So, but the thing is, not everyone owns a dog, so it's biased because they only survey the ones who has a dog, so they will most likely say yes, right? So it showed that the majority of city residents are the favorite in dog parks. No, not necessarily. The survey sample should have it include more residents who are dog owners. No. It should be random, right? Not regardless of whether they own a dog or not. The survey should have the consistent entirety of residents who do not own dogs. Not entirely. So this is biased because it does not represent all city residents. So D is the best answer that describes the survey. 8. Ice cream and topping selections. The table above shows the favor of ice cream and the toppings chosen by people at a party. Each person chooses one flavor of ice cream and one topping. Of the people who choose vanilla ice cream, out of 13, right, total, what fraction does hot fudge as a topping? Hot fudge was 8 out of 13, so it is 8 out of 13, D. 9, the total area of a coastal city is 92.1 square miles, of which 11.3 square miles are water. Okay. If the city had a population of 621,000 people in the year 2010, which of the following is closest to the population density in people per mile, square miles in the land area? Yeah, so it is people, number of people divided by area. So of the city at that time. Land area means not including the water. So there were 621,000 people total, and the land was 92.1 total area, but the water area was 11.3, so you have to subtract that. So it is 621,000 divided by 92.1 minus 11.3. So you get 80.8. So 621,000 divided by that answer. Second negative, we'll just copy the previous answer. So it is 7,600. 85, so close to 90. 10, between 1497 and 1500, Amerigo Vespucci embarked on 2 voyages to the New World, so the boat. According to the Vespucci's letter, the first voyage lasted 43 days longer than, so the first boat is A, so that lasted 43 more days than the second voyage. And the 2 voyages could combine last total of 1003. So A plus B is 1003 days. How many days did the second voyage lasted? So we are looking for B. So we already have what A is. So substitute 43 plus B for A. And just go ahead and copy the rest of it down to solve for B. So here I have 43 plus B is 2B equals to 1003 minus 43 minus 43. So I get 1003 minus 43, and you divide by 2. So I get 2B equals to 960, and I divide it by 2 to get B. So B equals to 480, which is B. 11, 7x plus 3y equals 8, 6x minus 3y equals to 5. Find the xy, the system of equation above. What is the value of x minus y? Okay, let's solve for x and y. So here you can add these two. for linearization. So you can substitute, get rid of 3y because 3y minus 3y is 0. So I get 13x equals to 13. So when you divide by 13 on both sides, I get x equals to 1. So what is y? Substitute to one of these equations. So 7 times x, 7 times 1, plus 3y equals to 8. So 7 plus 3y equals to 8. Subtract 7 from both sides. I get 3y equals to 1. So y equals to 1/3 when you divide by 3 from both sides. So what's the question again? X, 1 minus 1/3 is 3 over 3 is 1 minus 1/3 is 2/3. So it is B. 12. So here, sunflower growth over time. Okay. So I think I cut off some of it. So let me double check. Actually, yeah, 84 is the last value on the x, and that we have the y value, so that's good. So 12. Over which of the following time period is the average growth rate of the sunflower least? Average growth. So mostly less steeper, right? Close to 0. So you can see here you have the least steep slope. So 63 to 84. 63 to 84, yes. D. Good. The function h defined by h of t equals to a t plus b, where a and b are constant. Model the height in the centimeter of the sunflower after t days of growth during the time period in which the growth is approximately linear. What does a represent? So a is the rate of change, right? So how the height changes over time in days is the slope. So the predicts the number of centimeters the sunflower grows each day during the period. Yes. The predicts height in the centimeters of the sunflower in the beginning of the period. No. Each. Predicts height in centimeters of the sunflower at the end of the period. No. During the period. Centimeters during the period. No, it's each day. How much it's growing each day. Rate of change. 14. The growth rate of the sunflower from day 14 to day 35 is linearly constant. So 35 to 50, no, 14 to 35. Yeah, it's almost linear, okay? On this interval, which of the following equation best models the height in centimeters of the sunflower T after it begins to grow? So 14 to 35. So how do you find the slope? It's changing y over changing x. So y, it increased by 131 minus 36.36. So y changed by 94.64 divided by 14 to 35 is 21 days. So divide by 21 days to get the rate of change, which is about 4.5. So 4.5 is the rate of change. Your y-intercept is not necessarily 40 because if you use that slope, right, it goes to negative. But since there's only one slope that matches with ours, you don't have to worry about the y-intercept. Just pick B. 15. Which of the following equation relates y to x for the value in the table above? If you have a common ratio that multiplies each time, it becomes exponential function. If you have a common difference, each increase in x, then it's a linear function. So let's see. So what are we doing? We are adding, 14 over 4? Are we adding the same thing? 14 over 4? Yes. So we are adding 14 over 4, which will be the slope. And it's a linear function, so the slope is 7 over 2. So it has to be D, right? And if you subtract 14 over 4, it's negative 3 over 4 for the x-intercept. When y-intercept, when x is 0. So it is, that's right, D. 16, the triangle ABC and DEF are shown above. Which of the following is equal to the ratio BC, short leg, over AB hypotenuse? If this is 32, this must be 58. They got to add up to 90. So as you can see, by angle postulate, they're similar. If triangles are similar, then sides are proportional and angles are congruent. So BC, short leg, which is DF, over AB hypotenuse, which is DE, must be the same, equal to. So DF over DE, DF over hypotenuse is DE. So DF over DE, DF over DE is same ratio, proportional. 17, when designing a stairways, an architect can use the riser tread formula 2h plus d equals to 25. H is the riser height and tread depth is d. For any given stairway, the riser heights are the same and the tread depths are the same for all steps in the stairways. The number of steps in the stairways and the number of its risers. Okay, so 5 steps in the hallway figures above. All right, so the total rise of the stairway is the sum of the riser height and shown in the figure. Yeah, of course, right? Total rise. So what's the question? When designing a stairway, all right, yeah, that's the description we already did. Which of the following expression expresses the riser height in terms of the tread depth? So we're looking for H. So 2H equals to D equals to 25. 2H plus D. So now we are solving for H. So move D first. So 2H equals to 25 minus D, divide by 2, divide by 2. So you get H equals to 25 minus D over 2. Same thing as times 1/2. 18, some building codes requires that the indoor stairways, the tread depth must be at least 9 inches and the riser height must be at least 5 inches. So the tread depth must be at least 9, so greater than or equal to 9. And the riser height must be at least 5 inches. Which of the following inequality represents the set of all possible value for the riser height that meets this code requirement? Okay, let's plug it in. Let's plug in D first. So it is 2H plus D equals to 25. Right? And here it says height must be greater or equal to 5. So let's see if there's anything that we can get rid of. So height is less than 5. No, it can't be. Greater than 5. So all three satisfies this, right? So now we just got to check D. So when you solve for D, D equals to 25 minus 2 times H, right? D equals to 25 minus 2H. So D has to be, D, 25 minus 2H, has to be greater or less equal to 9, right? Because this is D, you can just substitute that into the equality. So let's solve for H. So subtract negative 25. Negative 2H equals to greater or equal to negative 16. When you divide by negative 2, when you divide by negative inequalities, negative numbers in inequality, you flip the sign. H must be now less than or equal to 8. So it has to be greater than 5, but less than or equal to H. So 8, so it is C. 19. So same script, 19. An architect wants to use the riser tread formula to design a stairway with the total rise of 9 feet. A riser height between 7 and 8. So height must be between 7 and 8, meaning not including, right? 7 and 8. And an odd number of steps. There should be odd numbers. Which of the architect constraints, which of the following must be the tread depth in inches of the stairways? And the total rise is 9 feet. That is, they're all in inches, right? So 9 times 12 will give us 108. Right? 108 inches, the total height. So what would you do? So there are 108 inches, so you have to divide by 7 or 8 to get the number of steps. So what is 108 divided by 7? There could be, so if you divide by less height, you get more steps, right? So we'll go here. 108 divided by 7 will give you 108, divide by now 8, right? We did 7. So 8 to get the number of stairs, it has to be between 15.4 and now number of steps. So now this is number of steps. This was the height. Then it's 13.5. So between 14, right, cannot have 13. It has to be greater. And number of steps must be a whole number. Must be from 14 to 15. So there's only 2 options. And it says there are odd number steps. So the number of steps is 15, right? Odd number. So what's the question? Now you have to find the depth in inches of the stairway. So what do? So now height, when we go back to this, height, no, we already have height is between 7 and 8, and we got the number of steps. So now the height, the actual height of it, will be 108 total height divided by number of steps. 15 is 7.2, right? So now we're finding the D. How do you find the D? What was the equation of a D? D was, so it was 2H plus D equals to 25. So you plug it in. 2 times 7.2 plus D equals to 25. So 14.4 plus D equals to 25. So when you subtract 14.4, you get D equals to 10.6, right? You can double check by plugging to the calculator. 25 minus 14.4 is 10.6. Last one. What is the sum of the solution to the given quadratic equation? So here, when would it become 0? When x is 6. When would this become 0? When x is negative 0.2. So now you're finding the sum. When you add these two, you get 5.3.